meditation walk, and okay, it's kind of windy out, so I apologize if you can't hear me, but I've been working massively on my abundance blocks, and with that comes with a whole lot of holy shit epiphany moments that I've had just focusing on money, the energy of it, how it works, how it fluctuates, it flows, how it's created, and all of the stuff. My scarcity beliefs, I've even gone into the shadow work, and there's still many more layers that I have to peel back, okay? But what I can tell you is that any spiritual teacher will tell you that money is neutral, okay? Money and all of that, the physical entity of money itself, it is neutral, okay? If you think of it like a weapon, like a pistol, okay? It's not the people, it's not the money itself or the item itself, the physical item that makes it evil. It is the users of that tool that make it evil, okay? Part of that was also done on purpose to have us believe that money cannot be created, or that money is just something that you have to go to work for and that you have to work really hard for. And again, I'm not saying that you don't have to work hard for money, you do. Oh, was he waiting for me? Was he waiting for that person? Sorry. Anyway, I don't know what that person is waiting for. Oh, stop sign. Okay, got it. It was the bus stop over there. I didn't see that. But, so when it comes to abundance, money, the tool, the physical item itself is neutral, okay? And because the item itself is neutral, now you have all of this other shit that comes with it, right? I stayed in a homeless shelter. Okay, I was in a homeless shelter for 5 years with my family from 14. And I was homeless at 14 with my family. I have actual footage of that if you don't believe me. Insert the clip here. Now, when it comes to understanding that money is something that can be created and that it is not something that you necessarily have to work for, because think about it. You're not thinking of when you go to buy your coffee in the morning, you're not thinking about where that $5 or $6 is going. You're not thinking about where that tax is going. You're not thinking about where that money is allocated, right? Because all you see is the transaction itself. But if you learn to seek past the transaction, you connect to the energy of money. Where does money go, right? Once you give it away, where does it go, right? You pay a bill, where does it go? It goes to pay the lights. It goes in that person's pocket. It goes to pay stocks. It goes into the hands of other human beings. Listen, it goes in the hands of other human beings. Your money is going in someone else's hands. And the reason I say that is because, again, when we're not connected to the energy of money and we're just kind of doing things like out the side of our brain and we're just functioning in survival mode, I get it. That money goes somewhere. It doesn't just sit in a drawer, okay? It goes to a bank. Then when it goes to the bank, it pays a bill. And then that bill that gets paid, do you see? There's a journey with money, okay? And it doesn't just end when you give it away, and it doesn't begin when you receive it. It's a constant process, okay? Abundance is a state of mind. It's not, abundance is a state of being. It's, again, for me, happiest years of my life were actually when I was homeless. Crazy as that sounds. But the reason that is because that was the time that I was able to spend with my family. That was the time that I was able to really intimately get to know my parents. Some things were a little too intimate, but I digress. There were some things where children spend their whole lives asking questions about who their parents are and if they're even likable individuals, right? If they, like who they were before they became the parents. And I was fortunate enough to meet the versions of them when shit got rough. And they shared that with me. And at no point did they have to, but because we were in such close proximity, I appreciate the approach that they took when it came to me and my sister. And it's time I'll never be able to get back again. And if I was going to work and going to school and, there's no family time, there's no dinner at the dinner table at 6, 7, or whatever time that you eat dinner. Granted, my family eats dinner late, but, there's no, let's all sit together at the table and talk about how everyone's day was. There is no discussions at dinner. And that was around roughly what I grew up around, and my family had instilled that in me as a child. So when things got rough, it's kind of like we were still able to remain cohesive. It wasn't until I got out of it that I was just like, that's it, I'm done. So, knowing that this has been my experience, and having been in such a scarce situation, and to have been in that at a very pivotal point in my life and at my age, there were a lot of things that were mentally against me. And I know you resonate with me, because if you also grew up at any point just hearing conversations with your parents saying like, oh, you don't have enough for that, or oh, we can't afford that, that sticks with you in your unconscious and subconscious of what you believe is possible of your earning potential. Now, getting back to, people are so funny. Now, getting back to money and it being a tool. If you put it in the hands of the right people that share the same value of wanting to enrich the lives of yourself and others, and you get a group of people that feel that way collectively, and you can make a shit ton of change. Sorry, it's really windy around this part, so I'm just gonna pause here. Okay, I think it kind of stopped for a minute, but if you grew up with hearing any of these phrases as a child, as in like, we can't afford it, or, that's too much, or that's too expensive, or like my mom, she's from India, she's always mentioning the prices of things and has no idea that it comes from a belief of scarcity and thinking that we don't have enough. The feeling of abundance and what that is, the mindset shift. Abundance is the feeling of never running out. I'm going to stand still for this part. Abundance, the feeling of it is the feeling of never running out. Never running out of whatever that resource is. If it's love, you're abundant. You'll never run out of that. If it's money, you'll never run out of that. If it's time, you'll never run out of that. If it's people, resources, you'll never run out of that. That is the feeling of abundance. It's the feeling of, I'll never run out of this resource. And once you learn to connect to that feeling consistently through gratitude, daily gratitude, religious, devoted gratitude, like to the point where it's like, oh my goddess, will you please shut the fuck up, please? And it's like, no, I'm grateful. I have so much to be grateful for. Real talk, true story. Do it. Gratitude rampage. Do that shit. So, okay. So, that is essentially what I will leave you with for now. As I continue this walk, I am actually almost home. But I just wanted to share with you, like I said, the feeling of abundance, what money actually is. It is a tool, and the goal essentially is to get it in the hands, a shit ton of it, in the right hands. And I know a lot of times people would say like, well, how do you know if it's the right hands or not? Their energy will be their currency. Literally, their presence is the currency. The more you step into your abundance, the more you begin to understand that. I'll also talk more about how, trading time, time for money versus energy as the currency exchange. So there's so much I want to go into, but like I said, I'm almost home, and I would like to listen to some tunes on the way back, smoke the rest of this, and I will have more channeled messages for you when I get back. But see you guys in a second.